So I've had Hi everyone, my name is Cumber. I'm an intuitive life guide and healer, and I started and continue to do this channel on YouTube in the hope really of trying to bring some benefits to you, trying to go over some of the healing techniques, some of the attitude of mind, some wisdom from others, a variety of different ways of being in tune with yourself so that you can live the best life possible for you. Whatever your starting point happens to be, for you to live the best life possible for you. Now, I'm an intuitive, which means that I have certain honed abilities that help me to tune in to the earth, to tune into myself, to tune into other people, buildings, situations, and all sorts. And one of my great delights in life is actually sharing those techniques with you and sharing some of those stories with you in the hope that it will bring you hope, it will bring you interest, it will bring you a dynamic of approach to life, that you get to know that you are just perfect the way you are, and anything you want to change, you can change because you are master of your own mind and destiny. And there's lots of different ways of you meandering through life to actually pick up some of these ideas and tools and inspirations and make them what you will. So I have a bit of a story for you today because I've recently had COVID, and I thought I'd share with you my insights that I picked up about the actual experience and the actual thing that it is. And I had a chat with Gaia about it, and I got some information from her. So it's basically some insight into a COVID experience. So I happen to have this experience with two other family members, and with different abilities in life. You'll have to excuse me, I'm looking up all the time because swallows are my very, very favourite bird, and I always wait, and they're usually here over Easter weekend, wherever, you know, Easter may fall, and they're really late this year. We've been here for quite a few years now, and this is the latest they've actually arrived, but I've just been my first swallow. So if I'm looking over there as I'm chatting to you, perhaps you can pick up a bit of that joy that I've got as well from the swallows returning, because I just absolutely love them. I think they're amazing. So, COVID. Yeah, I want you to sort of take a little bit of hope from this, because wherever you are, whatever your, you know, whatever you perceive yourself to be as far as stressed or not stressed, ill or not ill, this and that and the other, everything can change, you know, in a moment. Everything can change in a second, depending on your attitude and your mind and your heart and your alignment with actually who you are and where it is you want to be. And COVID, it's nothing quite like a little bit of fear going around the whole planet about a certain disease like this pandemic has been. So that when you get a diagnosis that says you have COVID, it's a real good waking up moment to bring you fully present into that moment. And it always brings with it, I've spoken to quite a few people who've had COVID now, and it always brings with it that, oh, what's this going to mean to me? Now, I don't want to bore you with all the symptoms that I personally had, but I do want to actually say that this is very different. You know, people say it's a flu-based thing. I don't believe it is. I've had flu. I've been put into bed for 3 or 4 days with flu. This is not flu. I feel as if we get flu-like symptoms as a reaction from our immune system that fights an invader. You know, always your temperature will go up, perhaps. You'll get aches and pains, perhaps. But I'm an intuitive, and I spend my life assisting others in moving from one state to another state, hopefully a better state. And therefore I've with, 27 years of experience of working with other people now on a daily basis, before that family and friends, all of my life I've been tuning into the refined states of what is the seed that causes that disorder or disharmony, and what does that person's higher self tell me they need in order to restore some harmony back to the body or the mind or the emotions or whatever it happens to be. And so one of my skill set, therefore, of having used this intuition over all of my life in a long period of time, is to tune into what something is and to get its signature, to get its name, if you like, to get its vibrational essence is what it really is. So this was very new to me. So whilst I was in the thick of it, shall we say, I sat down and just meditated, and I connected in with what was inside my body. And I asked it, who are you? Why are you here? What do you need from me? Okay. So when I asked it, who are you? I get a lot of visual interpretations of things. I didn't see any of the molecular structure that you see in the news and on TV. I saw what could be described as sleek and silver stream of energy, a bit like a worm, I guess you'd say, without any features, just a long, sleek, silver being. So I'm not saying that's the same for everybody. I'm just saying this is my interpretation. It's just my story, guys. This is just my story. It's not going to be the same for everybody. But what that usually does for me on an intuitive basis, and you can try this with any kind of disharmony or illness that you get, is to say, who are you? What is the invading, bacteria or virus or whatever it is that you're dealing with? Because it's quite nice to get to know who it is, so you can recognize it again, for one thing. I mean, that's quite cool in itself. So that's how it showed itself. And what was absolutely fascinating, the reason why it was so different from like flu or anything else that I've experienced is, as an analogy I'd like to present to you. Like if you and I are moving into a new home, and let's say this home has an attic and some bedrooms, and it has maybe even it has a basement as well, and it's a big home, and it's complicated, and it's got its own character and nooks and crannies. Let's say that's the human form. Let's say that's our bodies. And what I experienced with meeting COVID when I said, who are you, is it went through every single system of my body. It went through everything. So I relaxed into it and I opened myself up to it, and I was just observing. So the observer in me was watching me and my experience with this particular virus. And what I saw was something that was fast. And if we take the analogy of a house, it was like somebody's just moved into your house without your permission on a certain level, but on some level, obviously, we've given it permission. So it's moved in, and it doesn't really know where the best room or the best corner or the most comfortable place is. So when that thing has come in, it's decided it's going to check out every single nook and cranny of every single room of your home. So it's in the basement, it's in the nervous system, it's in the tissues, it's in the muscles, it's in the bones, it's in the blood, it's absolutely everywhere. And I think that's why people get so many different types of symptoms, and why I believe over time we'll find out there's far more symptoms to this than is reported. I shared this particular virus with two of the family members at the time, and we were symptom swapping each day, like how's this for you today, or that. And it's different for everybody. Okay, it's different for everyone. In the same way as you've all got different homes, your body structure, emotional state, everything else is different from another. You're unique. So when this particular virus comes in, it's coming in to make a unique relationship with you. When I asked why it was here, it's to survive, to thrive, to live. So they're good motivation things for anything. But what I found was that, like a few months previous, I believe in preventative medicine, and there's various things I do with my body that prevents various things happening. And because of the pandemic and lockdown, I haven't been able to actually access those preventative things for me. And so I basically had a trapped nerve in my neck, which has affected my right arm before COVID. So when I had COVID, I could feel that it was checking out all the different rooms. And for me, it wasn't the chest or the head, it was going everywhere, but it settled in my nervous system. And that happened to be the vulnerable part of me at this moment in time, or the weakest or the newest place of pain, or whatever you want to label it as. And I found that interesting in itself, that it actually knew I felt there was an intelligence there, that it was directive to making its home where it can survive the best. And, it felt like it was completely on target and nothing was stopping it, and it was going to do what it was going to do. I then watched as my immune system responded to that and protected my life in balance with that new experience of this new virus to me. So yeah, it settled into my nervous system. So the nerve pain and things, I suppose, was worse for me. For someone else in the family, it was their lungs. For someone else in the family, it was in their joints. So it's different. It's different for different people. And I wonder what you think. Please put in the comments below if you've had COVID, or you know somebody who's had COVID. Where does it settle for you? What was the worst symptom for you? And was that related at all to something that you'd had? Is that one of your areas that you would know to protect under normal circumstances? That's just something I'm interested in, so be interested to know that really as time goes on. So there are various ways that you can help your own system to fight an invading army, if you like. And I believe in love. I think love is a great healer. And it sort of provides, when you love something, it provides an equal field. But I basically wanted the pain to diminish. And for the pain to diminish in the body, it means inflammation has to go down. It means your immune system is at a point where it's confident of winning that particular race. So the inflammation goes down, and therefore if inflammation in the body goes down, the pain actually decreases. So my focus therefore went to chasing through, cleaning up after this visitor in my home. So I sent healing, and you don't have to be a professional healer to do this. It's just getting some loving energy going. And I've got a previous video you might want to check out about how to self-heal. I really, really, really recommend you do that, because everyone can self-heal. Everyone is born with this. We can all do it, and it's easy. It's not complicated, and it's a really good preventative medicine tool to learn how to self-heal. And then when the chips are down and you really need it, it's a fantastic thing to have. So do look up that video and check that one out for yourself. Come back to me with any questions. Happy to help you through that. So yeah, basically I was doing some self-healing and I was chasing it through. So if I felt that it was in this part of my body, then I sent a lot of love and healing light to that particular part of the body. And I had in my mind, I guess, that I was sweeping through. It's like if you've got, you know, a squatter in your house and they've settled in one particular space, you can clear the rest of their smell, their disorder, their essence out of the system. So more of your own essence is strengthened, so that you can actually just deal with the last bit. There's a wonderful way of what we call chasing pain out of the body, and I'll do a video on that next week, which is completely to do. It's a beautiful healing technique that anybody can use by imagining what pain is, what it looks like, feels like, colour, form, and how to change it and how to get to work with your body so that you can actually heal deeply anything that's of a painful nature. So I will do that for you next week if you want to have a look out for that one. But basically, it was really interesting. So I sat with Gaia then and I said, why is this here? What is this? What is this? What is it? And I've asked this before, and I've got a guide who was human called Matilda, and she calls herself a Yorkshire hag because that's where she used to live, and she was one of the wise women in the village where she'd live outside of the village and attend to many of the needs of the villagers. But she's very blunt when she comes in for a natter. Unlike my cosmic guides, who are very, they speak from a very different realm and a very different vibration, or the angelic realm, or anything else that I listen to. They all have their own signature. They all have their own voice, like you and I have a different voice. Matilda's very direct and just says it the way it is. And when COVID first came out, I shared with you on another video as well about the fact that she said humanity needs a bit of a wake-up call. You know, we need a bit of a wake-up call. Gaia herself has decided she'd like to take us as a human nation, a human race, to ascend into a better existence, to have this fourth and the fifth dimensional existence rather than all of us being in this duality phase where fear is a main contender. And if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll do more messages from Matilda on that particular subject. But what they've said about COVID is, I went into Gaia and I said, what is this? Where is its source? In the same way as I would if I was doing a session with anybody. And what I got was, I really like watching films. And I don't know if any of you have watched Jurassic Park, but in Jurassic Park, it's all about dinosaurs. And there's a dinosaur there called raptors. And they're some of the smaller in physicality dinosaurs, but they're very, very clever and they work as a team. And so when I asked, you know, where is the origin, because I'm looking at the seed of these things, what is the origin of what we are calling COVID-19? And I got a raptor came straight up. So Gaia was telling me this is Jurassic, this is old, this is ancient, this is part of a time of Earth's history that we would say in our history is dead and gone. And she's saying this is kind of been dug up really. So this has come from a time of dinosaurs, of a Jurassic period in Earth's history. So, and she said that's why, you know, many of you are having difficulties with it, because it appears new. It's not, it's ancient. It's an ancient form, and we are adapting to that particular ancient form. You know, you don't want to be really scared of viruses. I mean, when we're born, we're hit with, you know, hundreds of thousands of viruses and bacteria and things. It's part of our life. If you want to look up a view of the evolution of mankind to do with the microbiome, look up Dr. Zach Bush. He's got loads of videos out there with regard to how this is part of our evolution and it's part of our health, and he's going to put it much better than I can, so do look up him. I'll write it down in the comments below so you can look that one up, which is really, really useful and really informative. Okay, so here I stand as a COVID survivor, so that is really, really brilliant, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Like anything, when you have anything where there's a lot of fear, you come out changed. You come out, well, I hope you do, because if we have an experience that's a bit traumatic or a bit of serious illness or a bit this and that and the other, change is a natural adaptation that we need to make. And it's often, I often ask the question, what was the benefit of that experience to me? Now, I think the benefit is obviously my immune system, and I now recognize what that particular experience is. You know, my other family members were very, very ill with it. One person needed to go into hospital, and I took them into A&E, and I met the triage nurse, and she'd just come back in from a 5-week holiday, and she said, I think it was something like over 70% of her colleagues were now showing signs of PTSD from the year that they've had. And she said they're starting to really look at their own care of themselves and what they need to do. And I thought, how amazing is that? You know, another nurse that I spoke to after one of my family members was in for 5 days and actually had an experience of COVID, pneumonia. When they came out, and I said thank you to the nurse for her care, and you know, they're kind of like, well, we're just doing our job, this is what we do, this is our thing. But I think the extra fear that comes with it and around it has produced quite a change, quite a shock in the system. And I think whether you've had this, whether you haven't, I know some people don't believe in COVID and some people believe it's all a big conspiracy theory. And there's so many different beliefs out there. I believe in COVID. I've had an intimate experience with it. It is very different from anything else. And in fact, I think it was the illest I've ever been in my life. So from that perspective, it's quite interesting. Now, I want to just talk to you a little bit about the fatigue as well, because of the change that's going on worldwide with fear, with power struggles, with differences of opinion. That's all to do with, it's all to do with duality. And we are in the process of rebirthing, if you like, humanity. We're in the process of rebirthing and making a gigantic move into unity consciousness, where we do have to come together and decide what we're going to do on this planet and what we're going to do in our own lives. So it's kind of like Matilda says, this is a way of helping. I know it might not sound like that, but she says it's a way of helping humanity to wake up, to do things in a different manner. So take this opportunity, whether you've had COVID, whether you haven't, whether you believe, whether you don't, whatever your structure and your point of being is, to design what you want in your life, to design what changes have been put upon you. Sometimes there's signposts along the way about what could be a better way of living for you in this next chapter of our life. Think about how you want, you know, instead of like getting all really worried about the changes in the world and what isn't there anymore, just sit with yourself and ask yourself, well, how do I want my world to be? How do I want it to look? How do I want to feel each and every day? How do I want to greet people? How do I want to exist? How do I want to live? How do I want to thrive? What would be an ideal world for me? Because if we start putting some energy, some love, some thoughts, some focus on the better things in life, on blue skies, birds visiting, on, you know, the beauty of nature, whatever it happens to be for you, whatever you can get an attitude of gratitude going, a bit of kindness for yourself, a step more towards an empowering, loving, strong, unified, authentic heart field of energy rather than fear, then that's got to be a good day. That's got to be a good thing. And if there's any healers out there who feel like they want to help in the world, you know, send it to all of those people who are in shock, because shock is a wave that we're dealing with now. It's almost like we're dealing with a aftershock, because it's gone on for quite some time now, and there's more to come. So it's like the aftershock, the shock of the discovery of something so different that's affecting everybody's life and is coming closer to everybody's life. It's a big thing. It's a serious thing. So we can take that seriously by taking a good look at it. Don't be afraid of taking a look at what life is now for you and seeing what benefits there are in it and seeing what changes that you might now have the courage to make, because supporting and pushing for the old norm is a complete and utter waste of space. It's gone. It's disappeared. So we are evolving. We're in an evolutionary time. And so it's new for everybody. So make the best of it. Be thankful that you're alive. Be well with every single breath you take. You know, send some healing and some blessings out there and good wishes to, you know, we're in the UK, so I'm extraordinarily thankful to the system that we do have. However many complaints people make of it, that really helped one of my family members, and I'm very grateful for that. And also, I'm really grateful. I just want to say this, I'm really grateful, right? There's this system in the UK called track and trace. And oh my God, it's had so much negative press and it's had so much complaints about this, that and the other. I tell you, I am really thankful. If you're a track and trace person, I want to say thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the reason for that is I was taking calls for the 3 family members, and track and trace were ringing up, and they were really interested in how we were doing. And I had some really good conversations and chats with people, because I was saying, wow, if anybody's out there doing this on their own, that could be crackingly difficult. And the amount of lovely people I spoke to were like, yeah, well, I've just had this really good conversation with an elderly person living on their own who was struggling with, you know, their emotional response.
So this is what track and trace are offering. And it can be a lifeline to someone on their own. But what they also offered to me and to everybody was really a team of volunteers who could go get your shopping for you or pick up some prescriptions. And it really felt to me like unity consciousness at work. It felt like support that you just didn't know was there. And yeah, I'm truly grateful. So if anyone from Track and Trace is watching this or know anybody who does that work and can pass on our thanks, please do so, because I'm sure, I am positive that's going to make a massive difference to some people. So there's quite a bit of information out there about looking after your immune system and how if it's compromised, you know, we may be open to picking up various things. And I feel that that definitely happened for me. Due to the last year, I've had
some personal losses, and I think that definitely affects your immune system. And so, yeah, I believe that sort of added to why my immune system was in the place it was. But, you know, all experiences are equal, aren't they? And, you know, if you're going to get something, you're going to get something. I don't think it's my personal belief structure says that we align with certain things. You know, we come into alignment with various things, and no experience is wasted or horrible, no matter how painful it is and how scary it is and how this and that and the other. You come out of it, if you're one of the survivors of it, you come out of it with further knowledge about who you are, further knowledge about the exquisite, wonderful benefit of breathing and living one breath at a time and being so grateful to have more life at the end of the experience. So I wish you more wonderful life each and every day. I hope this helps some of you. Let me know in your comments below if you've got any further questions or anything that we can help with. And look out for the video which is coming next week, which is called Chasing the Pain Away. And it's a really good tool a lot of healers use. And it's anyone can do it. And it's a really good way of instructing the body and telling the body what it is you want rather than just staying in suffering. It helps to replace suffering with something else that's of far more benefit for you and gives direction to the body so it knows what to do. And that's certainly helped me and my family, and I hope it'll help you too. Lots of love, everyone. Mwah! Bye for now.